So, I'm going to give you an example of the types of things that they do around here. So one night when I was at a friend's house, and all the dumb cops were in all this like weird fucking drug metro world, and all these weird hypnotists and shit. See, all the drug metro, a lot of them do like weird pedo kid hypnotism shit. So one night I described how like even blackout wasted, I'm pretty coherent. And so one night I described like basically I described like how like still like coherent I am even when I'm blackout wasted, okay? And that I described an idea that would like represent like an ability I have, where I said that even blackout wasted I'd be able to drive and you'd be able to like hypnotize me and I would still be able to like withstand that stuff. And I described a whole way of testing that. And then maybe like a year later, I was at my friend's house and I ended up kind of getting blackout wasted. And then one of my friends, like, because I have somewhat of a hypnotic susceptibility, one of my friends, like, cued me in a hypnosis way to be driving. And then the things that I described like a year earlier, these cops, like, did what I described. And then I got a DUI. So, regardless of what they say and the proof stuff and blah, 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 that stuff doesn't really matter. The whole idea is that I know exactly what I said and I know exactly what they did. And then it was documented. They like broadcasted it. It's like, oh, like what there, blah, blah, blah. And then the people that were standing there watching me say that stuff a year earlier than that incident. One of them called me up and said he was sorry. Those are an example of like where I researched all of those people. And that most of those people are extreme voyeurs and probably the reason for a lot of things that would have happened in the past are basically because of a few friends of mine that are obsessed with hypnosis and weird little pedo-y trick kind of ideas. And so most of those people just may not realize that they were all part of ripping off basically like a bunch of movie ideas, and most of them are paranoid about the reality of what that means. See, when I was super wasted in the past, I was doing my sleep project where I developed like a sleep education. So I had a pair of hearing aids in the past. And then when I get blackout wasted, these stupid little fucking pedophiles like to suggest things in the speaker when I'm wasted. And when you're super wasted, it becomes not really that difficult to get people to do low volume, like internal first person dialogue suggestion. And so basically those people, they're really paranoid because basically they had convinced people that when I came up with a bunch of movie ideas, they claimed that they were accessing my speaker and were telling me what to think and what to say. And then they justified ripping me off. And so, when those stupid little fucks thought that their ultimately like geniusy proof and explanation would ever mean anything, see, they're sociopaths. See, only a sociopath would completely devoid the reality of placing audios in somebody's speaker and fucking with them in that way. Okay? See, they're paranoid because they probably have speakers. They probably get sound tortured for lying to everybody about a bunch of stuff, and that they're probably desperate to make that sound torture stop, and that a lot of that comes from the fact that they can't prove that they controlled somebody's brain. And so right there, they ripped off somebody, and that their infatuation is about proving that they controlled somebody's brain. And so that's impossible. It's impossible to control somebody's brain. And that they're too fucking stupid to realize that if they're gonna like go to great lengths to be a sociopath that tries to prove like, you see, just remember, telling your woman that you were a heroin addict, she thought you were a pedophile, and I cleared up that little issue. And that then you and stupid little fucking fuck got all weird and pissy. So the reality is that people that do gaslighting and deny everything and stuff like that, that's where I'm not going to desperately try and figure out proof on stuff, and I'm not going to break down psychologically from trying to prove all this stuff. But I know the truth. And that the reality is that those people were fucking with somebody that they sat there, they stood right there, knowing the knowledge about me. I yelled at their fucking face with them standing right fucking there about who and what I am. And they turn into tricksy little pedophiles that do little weird fucking tricksy little pedophiles that do tricksy little things. And so, more than likely, the things that they did in their life would probably cause them to, they'll probably end up committing suicide over this stuff. And that's a real reality for them. That would be somewhat of a normal reaction to the kinds of fucked up shit that they did to me and Lena and Maddox. And that if they like end up killing themselves, that would probably be normal for the kind of fucked up shit that those people did to us. See, their little voyeur exploitation side of us, they couldn't control anymore. Then they hid and acted like it didn't exist and stuff. And then they sat around and watched as people exploited the fuck out of us after they created it. And so those were people that were basically close to me. And that I don't normally talk about the people I'm most pissed off about. The things I'm most pissed off about, I won't talk about. It's kind of like I don't talk much about my little boy. That's because I'm the most pissed off. I don't really talk about my ex-friends that much. That's because I'm the most pissed off about that stuff. And see, when I talk about the things, when I don't talk about the things that I'm most pissed off about, that's because I'm trying to create magic on them.